Hello, hello, Year 4 designers. We're going to be making our Catapult game. Very exciting. In your pairs, you'll be getting a pack of wood. And in that pack are going to be 2 pieces, which are 30 centimetres long. 6 pieces, which are 10 centimetres long. You'll be getting a 20 centimetre long piece, a piece of doweling, which is round. Can we see that? Which is 15 centimetres. And then this was a square, which is 10 by 10 centimetres, which we've cut in half for you to make 2 triangles. You're then also going to need some different types of pins and glue and a glue spreader. These are the pins we need, little gold ones. First of all, you see they're golden colour, and then we need some silver colour ones as well. You'll also need a hammer. We're going to be doing hammering today. Very exciting. Now, we're not going to be using the silver ones at the moment. We're going to be using the gold ones, and we can get rid of everything else here except we need the triangles. We need a couple of bits of the 10 centimetre, and we need the 30 centimetre. Now I'm showing you a little trick here, because what we need to do is put some of the nails in, some of the brassy gold colour, and they're really tiny. So what I've done here is I put a little bit of white tack in there, little balls of white tack, so I can poke in the pins and they stand upright, because normally when you're hammering you'd hold them with your fingers, but they're really tiny. Your fingers might be tiny enough, but I've got big sausagey ones. And you just do a few taps, because all you're doing is you're not knocking it through the piece of wood, you're getting it so it's just stuck in there to make it easier. And we don't want to knock holes in our table, do we? Can you see there it's not gone all the way through? Then you just unpick your little bits of white tack and you've got your nails in place ready to go. Now anytime you want to stop this film because you want to make your catapult up to this point, that's absolutely fine. So now we get our long piece of wood and one of our little short pieces, and we just line it up. This is going to be the support for the firing arm, and you can see there that we're lining it up, and we've got a pencil and we're just going to draw on where we want it. Now we want a gap at the end which is about the width of one of our little batons, and we make lines with our pencil where it went, and then on this downward piece we are putting a bit of glue, and we're just putting that in position. There's no glue on the bottom piece, just the piece that's sticking upright, and then we're ready to tap in. Now you're going to be in a pair, which will be so much easier because you have someone to help and hold it. Look at that. First bit in. Does it line up still? Yep, that looks good. Now the other piece we have to do at the other end and turn around. Can we see that? Pointing in the opposite direction. Exactly the same again. Lining it all up. We get our pencil, mark it in place. Perfect. Bit of glue. Dab, dab, dab on the upward piece, not on the bottom. We're not ready to secure that yet. And we're lining it up, matching it, tap, tap, tap with our hammers. Perfect. We've got our 2 pieces now. And you can see how they're actually going to fit on there. Those are the 2 supporting structures. So now we're ready to stick those onto the bottom supports. And we've already sort of marked this out, but if we lay it on, it will help us because we need to put some nails in, some more of those little tiny nails in, and it gives us a bit of support. So I'm going to put the white tack on again because we've got to use the little golden ones. The silver nails are just too big for this bit, that we're going to use those later. And we just poke those into our white tack again, give them a little tap. And then we can take the white tack off when they are nicely secured onto there. And now we can actually fix it on. So we get our glue now and we run it along our long piece at the bottom. And we've got our lines. Do you remember we had our lines? And we just tap those in. So we've got the right size. It's not quite at the end, is it? We don't want it quite at the end. And we're going to do this one. And we need to do the triangle pointing at the other direction. At the other end, same as before, little bit of white tack to hold in those little golden colour nails. You might find you don't need to do this because you've got little fingers, but I definitely did. Tap them in, take off the white tack. Oh, bit more there. Okay, put the glue on. And you see I put it at the end of the support stick there as well. That's because we're wanting to give it some extra strength. And we're just putting that on. A bit of white tack left, that's all right. Tap, tap, tap. And I hope you're going to take it in turns to do this hammering. It's a really good skill. I want both of you to be doing this, to be having a go. So there we are. We've got our 2 side supports, which you'll understand as it all comes together. So now we've got 3 more of these 10 centimetre supports, and they're going to sit on top. A bit like a railway track, really. And we've got 1 on each end and 1 supporting the triangles there as well. Now we're going to use the silver nails for this because these are a bit longer and we're going to be going a bit deeper into the wood. So this time we need a nail at each end of the 3 little 10 centimetre batons. And we can go quite deeply, but again, I don't want you hammering it into your table like this. Just get one ready, do the other. I'm not bothering with the white tack on this one. I found that I could hold this absolutely fine. But if you're worried at all, you can do the same thing with the white tack again. Bigger nails, if you're scared about holding them to bang them in, you can actually hold with a clothes peg. That's a good thing to do. But for this, it was absolutely fine. And we're only doing little taps. We're not doing really big things. Just get those in a little bit deeper. But I'm not going through onto my table. So here we go. Our first one will be going here. We're going to do that one first, the one just at the back of the triangles there. Just line it up, and we want them to match up, and we want it to be what's called flush. I'm just marking that with my pencil, and I'm going to get a bit of glue, blob on each end and on the side as well, because of course it's going to touch the side supports as well. And then we're ready to tap in. And this is where having a partner helps, because one of you can hold it and stop it slipping. It slipped for me. And the other one can do the tapping. Not big, huge hits. Now, it's still wiggly at the moment. It's still got a bit of movement in it. But this will stop as soon as we get these supports on. So we've got this one going over the top at the end. And you can see why we needed to make sure that the tips of the triangle were just a little bit away from the start there. And hammering it in. That's it. Last one at the back. Now, you might have to wiggle this out because it might not be 100% square. That's okay. You just secure one end and again, get your partner to hold it for you and do the other one. And there we have our catapult nearly complete. A few more bits to do. And it doesn't matter if we don't get this done in one lesson because we've got tomorrow's lesson to do this as well. So there we go. Tap, tap, tap at one end, tap, tap, tap in the other. This is our last little 10 centimetre long piece. Blob of glue on the end. Get your friend to hold it in place. Tap, 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 tap. Not huge hard hits, little taps. That is great. So we've got everything in place here, except we need to get our firing arm in. And to do this, we need the round doweling and we need the 20 centimetre piece. And we need to make some of these paper tubes to help us with this, to hold them in. So for this, they're 4 centimetres wide. They're just a piece of cut up paper. And we're going to put a little bit of glue on it, but nowhere near the end. Look, big gap at the end there. And we begin to roll it around our little piece of doweling. This is called circular wood. It's called doweling. So we just roll it on nice and tightly though. We want it good and tight. Get to the end, hold it in place, get a bit of sticky tape. I've put in some tape dispensers for you. And stick that in place. There we go, good and secure. You could maybe put a couple of bits on if you want. And you see me wiggle it off there, that's one done. Same again, bit of glue, not at the end though, and then some tape. And there we go. We have 3 little tubes. And we can check that they each still fit in. If you've done it right, it should fit. If not, do another one. Now this is where your teacher comes in with a glue gun. This is really hot and you're going to be using glue gun next year. You're not really quite ready to be using hot glue, so your teacher's going to glue this in the place. So can you see that? The teacher puts a blob of glue there and we put on a tube lined up, and then we can get a bit more glue over the top of it just to secure it, making sure it's got nice joins. And then this last tube, just check it still fits. It's really important. Yeah, wiggle it, that's fine. That is going to be going on the end of our firing arm. A blob of glue on the end, that goes on there. Now you're just going to have to wait a minute or two. Just wait a minute, let's go a bit more glue over. Perfectly strong now. Right, now we've got to wait. It only takes about 30 seconds to dry. And when it is dry, you wiggle your doweling through the first one. You wiggle it through the bottom of your firing arm. Can you see how I'm twisting it and pushing it at the same time? And then we line it up with the last bit and we twist that in. That's about right. That's our firing arm. So it's working like a hinge, like you have on a door or something. This is a way of making a hinge, and can you see it can move around so you can get it right? And there we go. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be finishing that off. In the next video, we're going to be decorating it. We're going to be putting on our elastic bands and finishing it all off, which will be fantastic. So you can watch this film as many times as you want. You can stop and start it. When you get to this stage, we're ready to decorate. Great.